And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I am your host, Watch2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So let's do our full game preview right now. The New York Jets hosting the Dallas Cowboys, 1 p.m. MetLife Stadium this Sunday afternoon. Cowboys come into this game with a record of 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 tie. Jets come in with a bagel on the win column and 4 losses. If you like defense, watch another game. That's the first thing that I would say. These are 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. And it is the Brian Schottenheimer revenge game. It seems every week there's somebody who wants revenge on the Jets, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Baker Mayfield, which is just bizarre to think about, but whether it's Todd Bowles, on and on it goes. But Schotty was the Jets offensive coordinator from 2006 to 2011. Little did we know that those were the good old days. And being that it is the Dallas Cowboys, count on at least 40,000 Cowboy fans invading MetLife Stadium, as if they don't do that enough at the Giants games. Now they get to do it twice during the season. You know they got to be happy about that with all the Cowboy fans in the metropolitan area. All right, let's break these matchups down. Let's start. The last couple of weeks I've done the Jets offense versus the opposing defense first. That hasn't worked. I'm going to switch it around a little bit. Let's start when the Cowboys offense is on the field against the Jets defense. Well, the Dallas offense is averaging 404.3 yards per game. That is number 1 in the NFL. 28.5 points per game. That is 5th. Wow. I'm amazed how good that Cowboy offense was Sunday night against Green Bay, especially without CeeDee Lamb, because that Green Bay defense is really, really good. And Dallas was going up and down the field at will against them. You just wish that was a playoff game and that NFL overtimes could last more than 10 minutes, because I hate the 10-minute overtime rule. I hate it. But anyway, that is an aside. Now they're facing the Jets. Many observers are predicting at least 35 points by Dallas. If I've got to give you a negative with the Dallas offense, though, through 4 games, it's third downs. The Dallas Cowboys have converted just 42.5% of their third downs, 20 out of 47. So that is one weakness they have shown. Speaking of things that aren't a weakness, though, you got to talk about their quarterback, Dak Prescott, completing 73% of his passes, 279.8 yards per game, league high 1,119 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, sacked 6 times. And again, he's been doing a lot of this without CeeDee Lamb, his number 1 target. Now, they did bring in George Pickens, the speedy ex-Pittsburgh Steeler. He's got 21 catches for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, that's 3rd in the NFL, 19 first downs, 6 plays of 20 yards or more. So George Pickens, as many fans already know, is a very explosive wide receiver, and now he is drawing a lot of attention from opposing defenses. Now, he often lines up on the left side of the offense. Now, typically that would be Brandon Stevens, but let's see if Sauce travels with him. Sauce Gardner's best game this year was week 1 against DK Metcalf when he traveled with him, and he all but took Metcalf, especially after the first quarter, took him completely out of the game. Does he do the same thing this week? For some other wide receivers, Cavante Turpin has been stepping up, 11 catches on 13 targets, 159 yards and a touchdown. He also does the kick and punt returns, but he has missed practice this week with a foot injury, so that could be a big loss for them. A lot of Dallas injuries here. Jake Ferguson, very capable tight end, team high 34 catches on 39 targets. Wow, 34 catches on 39. That's pretty good. 223 yards, 1 touchdown. Running back Javonte Williams, the ex-Bronco, still with some injury issues in the past, looked pretty good this year, averaging 5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. The backup is Miles Sanders, coming off an ankle injury, and he's getting kind of up there in age, but can still give you a little bit of production in spurts. But their offensive line is beat to tatters. And the thing is, I've been saying this last week for the Miami game. I said it the last week before that against Tampa Bay, and the Jets have never been able to take advantage of it. But let's just get into the Cowboys. They're down 2 offensive linemen for sure, right guard Tyler Booker and center Cooper Beebe. Their left tackle Tyler Guyton sustained a concussion against Green Bay last week. He has not practiced yet this week. His status is up in the air, but as of Friday afternoon, I think the expectation from what I'm getting is he is not going to play. And if that happens, that means that Nathan Thomas, who was a 7th-round pick in 2024, gets his first career start. That means potentially 3 undrafted free agents starting on the Dallas offensive line. But like I said, the Jets have been facing beat-up offensive lines the last 2 weeks, and it didn't matter. The Jets defense cannot get a pass rush. They couldn't get one single hit on Tua on Monday night, let alone a quarterback sack. And a big part of it is Jermaine Johnson, who has been out with a lower body injury, likely an ankle injury. As of right now, he's day-to-day. He has not practiced all week. It sounds like it's leaning against that he is not going to play, but he cannot come back soon enough. But for the Jets to slow down the Cowboys offense, they got to force him in the third and long. I've already told you the third down numbers. You can't put them in a situation where they can convert easy third downs. And I want to see some simpler coverages in the secondary. The breakdowns that we are seeing again and again and again have to end now. There was one point they left Tyreek Hill open on third down. How do you leave Tyreek Hill open on third down? This wasn't pure speed where he was beating, a quarterback down the field. It was a crossing route, and somehow they're like, we might want to cover him. Oh, there he goes. Bye. There he goes. That's why I put more blame on the scheme than I do the players, because it's been happening week after week after week. All right, let's do what we always do. Let's flip the script when the Jets are on offense going against the Cowboys defense. Well, Dallas is allowing 420.5 yards per game. That's 32nd in the NFL. They're allowing 33 points per game. That is 31st. Only team worse is Baltimore, and they have gotten beaten up 3 straight games. The Cowboys are last in the league against the pass, averaging nearly 300 yards per game through the air. Okay, to put that in context, the Ravens are 31st in the league against the pass, but are allowing 265.5 yards per game, whereas the Cowboys are averaging 297. So that is a difference of 32 yards between last place and next to last place. That is dead 6 feet under rigor mortis setting in last. That Cowboys defense, especially the pass defense, can't stop a nosebleed right now, to quote Bart Scott. Sadly, the Jets are not exactly built to throw the football very well. But our old defensive line coach, Aaron White-Cotton, who is very well respected, very well admired, he's over in Dallas now, and he knows our personnel pretty well. But you look at the Cowboys' defensive personnel. James Houston has 2 sacks. No other Cowboy has more than 1 sack in 4 games. Jadeveon Clowney, he's still there at 32 years old. It feels like he's been around the NFL 32 years, though, for being honest. He's actually been getting more snaps at the expense of Sam Williams, who seems to have taken a bit of a step back. Cowboys had higher hopes for him, and he has just not delivered the way they wanted him to. They brought in Kenny Clark and the Micah Parsons trade to sort of fill in the gap up the middle. He's been fine. Of course, they signed Solomon Thomas. I'll give everybody a second to get all their laughs out. Yep, they signed Solomon Thomas. Again, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. We'll leave it at that. Now, I do think with the Jets, their interior offensive line did not exactly play well last week against Miami. They need a rebound game. Simpson, Tittman, Myers. The Dallas linebackers are a mess, and this is something the Jets can relate to. You have Kenneth Murray with a team-high 16 solo tackles. You have Jack Sanborn, also at linebacker, not very popular right now. In the secondary, the much-maligned secondary, Trevon Diggs, a cornerback. Deron Bland is there as well. He could play inside. He could play outside. I would expect Bland on Wilson right now because I think he's the most capable cornerback that they have. You also have the likes of Kyer Elam there. Oh, he failed in Buffalo, and he failed hard. That was a first-round bust, no question about it. At safety, they've lost Malik Hooker versus the Packers due to a toe injury. He has not practiced this week. The thing with the Jets in this game on offense, just use your best players. Rely on Brees, rely on Garrett, make the Cowboys stop it. Now, I know it might sound simplistic to say feed your best players, but it's not like there's a situation in Dallas where they have one great cornerback or one great defensive tackle and then a lot of question marks. No, the Dallas defense is a mess right now. And here's the thing. As good as Dallas's offense is, I think the Jets, it's going to be hard for them to win a shootout, but I think they might have to put up 30 points if they're going to win this game. Can they do that? They looked awfully good against Pittsburgh. There's no doubt about it. But can they do that this week against Dallas? All right, let's talk about a few other notes here. We got to talk about Brandon Aubrey, the Dallas kicker who could probably kick a football 75 yards into the wind. Okay, he is 20 for 20 on combined kicks this year between field goals and extra points. He's also 4-4 on field goals from 50 yards and up. So if this game comes down to field goals, I like Nick Folk, but Brandon Aubrey is probably the best in the world right now. His last miss was actually week 17 last year. That was a 61-yarder off the right upright against Washington. In the return game, well, the Jets apparently still are not going to have Kenny Nwangu, which is just so frustrating. Isaiah Williams should be banned to pretty much Mars at this point. You know, Xavier Gibson, he's pretty much in football Siberia at this point. Nobody can find him because nobody wants to play him anymore. So they signed Khalil Herbert for depth at both running back and returner, which they needed to do, with Braylon Allen being out for at least the next 2 months and probably longer. And also with turnovers, both of these teams are struggling there. Now, we know the Jets haven't taken the ball away yet. They are -7 in turnover differential. The Cowboys aren't doing too well here. They're -4. They don't take the ball away all that much either. And I think mentally you have to wonder where the Cowboys are. Yes, they have one extra day of rest, but they have now played 2 games that went into overtime against division opponents, and especially after that hard-fought tie against Philadelphia. Is this a situation where they might overlook the Jets a little bit? I don't know. I've wondered about the overlooking thing before. I tried it with Buffalo. It failed spectacularly. But I wonder how the Cowboys do start this game. I think it is something worth thinking about and something worth watching. But I could see a situation if the Jets could somehow get an early turnover. I know that's insane to think about. But if they do, I think it could really propel them. I think they're just looking for that first one, and it could really be a shot of adrenaline into the soul of the Jets defense. All right, guys, that is the game breakdown for Jets versus Cowboys. Man, this camera angle is horrible. Looks like I have no neck here. I really do have a neck, I promise you. Anyway, enjoy the football this Sunday. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.